So, greetings from Canada. I'm actually from Minnesota, but I am here today to wave the Canadian flag and get everyone jazzed about Canadian AgTech. But first, my name is Christina. I am representing the Consulate General of Canada in Minneapolis, which covers a 5-state area, including North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. And we're like an embassy, but far from DC. My role at the Consulate is totally focused on food and AgTech and agri-food, trade and investment and partnerships between Canada and that 5-state region that I mentioned. So, oh, I need the clicker, sorry. Why Canada? Well, there's many reasons, but in agriculture, it's a giant. So the agriculture industry in Canada generates $112 billion of GDP annually, employs 1 in 8 Canadians, and the Canadian food and beverage processing industry is worth over $100 billion. I got too many things here. Forget it. So across segments, Canadian agriculture is huge. Crops, animals, livestock, and then food and beverage processing. So the reason this is important is Canada is a major trading partner for North Dakota. I'm going to get my data back here because I'll forget. So the Canada-North Dakota trading relationship bilaterally is $1.1 billion strong, and Canada's by far your largest trading partner. So more than half of North Dakota's agricultural exports head straight north, and Canada sends about the same amount of agricultural products back down to North Dakota as to all of Germany. So that's huge. Canada and North Dakota's agriculturally based economies, combined with our robust trading relationship, provide the backbone for AgTech innovation partnerships and opportunities, which is why we're here today. So 930 AgTech startups in Canada. Does this number surprise you? It surprised me, and this is my job. This is just a snapshot of some of the major rising stars in Canadian AgTech, some of whom you'll hear from today. Maybe you recognize some of the logos. So there's world-class R&D, lots of support from the startup ecosystem and government in Canada, and it all has led to this very rich ag ecosystem. Many of the companies have gone, up here on the screen, have gone through our Canadian Technology Accelerator for AgTech, or CTA, which I'll talk about shortly. And I really love bringing them here to Fargo as well as to Minnesota because there's a real shared sense of passion and culture around agricultural innovation that has led and can lead to more really fruitful partnerships. So venture capital in Canada is not as robust as in the United States, but it has been really growing over the time I've been in this role. So these are Canadian dollars, so 10 billion Canadian is something like 7.5 billion US. But in 2022, Canada saw the second highest deal count and total deal value on record across sectors. And drilling in on agribusiness, the trend was even better. 2022 investments outpaced 2021, and AgTech startups closed more deals than ever before. The vast majority of Canadian AgTech investments originate from, you guessed it, US firms, which is why we offer the Canadian Technology Accelerator. So this is a program I've been co-leading with my counterparts in our California offices for the last 3 years. It supports Canadian AgTech startups with business and investment targets in the US, specifically California and the Midwest. It's a 6-month hybrid program targeted towards companies that meet these requirements. So they're raising a seed to Series A, they have true product differentiation, some market traction, and are really willing to invest the time and the resources to be fully engaged in the program. We prefer companies that are revenue generating, but we almost always choose a few that are not because we believe in the team and the technology. So we spend a lot of time virtually with these companies first, and partly because this program was born during COVID. And we do things like talking about protecting your IP, tax and employment opportunities, cross-border implications, pitch coaching, et cetera. We pair each company with a mentor from either the Midwest or California that works with them throughout the program, and then we bring them in market. So these are just some pictures of our cohort last year. We did come to Fargo as well as Minneapolis in the fall, and then we headed to San Francisco and Salinas around the World AgriTech Summit, where our startups were able to pitch on the startup stage. We also have a deal book every year, so if you scan that QR code, you can see our most recent deal book and check out some of the companies that we work with. So we could not do this without our local partners. Emerging Prairie has been invaluable in welcoming and introducing our cohort to this ecosystem. And equally, Naturally Minnesota and Techstars Farm to Fork have organized sessions, meetings, pitch sessions, and more in Minnesota. And my colleagues in California have wonderful partners on the West Coast as well. But that is really enough from me, because you're here to hear from the startups. The three joining me on stage today are alums of our past CTA cohorts. So AgVisor Pro from Alberta and Verigrain from Saskatchewan were part of our 2021 cohort. And SciGriff from Ontario participated in our most recent cohort that just wrapped up in March. And then shortly after our session, you'll hear from Mike Cully, who's another Canadian startup that went through our program and is on the session after this.